It's your boy, Mr. Uncut himself from Uncut Live Productions. Y'all know how I am about positive vibes. You know, if y'all follow me on Instagram or all my other social media platforms, today I talked about the need of stop accommodating negative people. Sometimes that means that we've got to disconnect and disengage from friends and family that are negative. And so, in the midst of that, we've got to also concentrate on making sure that we are positive role models and positive leaders to help inspire people to do the greater good and be all that they are striving to be at. And so, y'all know the mission of Uncut Live Productions. I gotta say it is where we focus on mind, body, soul, spirit, faith.
That's right.
Social issues, politics, you name it. And as I always say, we keep it 100 on 1,000.
That's right.
We will not be paused, edited, or muted. Whatever you see here, the cards lay how they lay. And that just is what it is.
Yeah, you get what you get, huh?
Yeah, that's just what you get. That's what you get. And so, I tell you guys, I keep telling you guys on every episode that I do, you never know who's going to be stopping by on the set. You never know who's going to be in the studio, Uncut Live Productions, because it just is what it is. When the powers that be, positive energy, you know how the universe works, just blends everything right together. And so, I always do this with my guests because I know that a lot of the guests that I bring on the set, sometimes I don't I don't get everything correct. Because I come across some very dynamic individuals, people that have some extensive background. And, I just, I may not necessarily get everything right. So I tell people, hold it in my head, not my heart. And so you don't have to worry about holding anything against me to do what I do. I just say, hey, guys, can you introduce who you are and tell the people who they are? So that way, that takes the weight off my shoulder.
Okay, you ready for me to grab a little bit of that weight right now?
Yeah.
Hey, world. Hey. Yes, my guy, Kenny, he got me on the Uncut Live Productions. And guess what is about to go down? It's your girl, Lightwork Nikky, honey. Lightwork Nikky. And I am the host of the Lightwork Nikky Show. So, look, we bringing all that good energy together today. You guys can follow me at Lightwork Nikky 18, Lightwork Nikky 18, and for the show, you hit an 18 at the end, so that's for the 18 and over, but it's still a little part of my journey. Y'all can chime in a little bit, Then for the actual show, you have Lightwork Nikky Show. It's simple, LIGHTWORK with a Y at the end, honey. 18 for the first one and show for the next one. So I'm here and I'm just being a guest. And I'm happy to be your guest. This is a phenomenal man right here. He gives back from all different elements. And, I'm learning right now a little something. He about to pull some stuff out of me. You know what I mean?
So, it's a lot that's going on here in 2020.
Take a sip to that.
The good, bad, and the ugly.
And the evil, we can't forget about that.
Yeah, the evil. And as I was speaking about, just staying positive and just really focusing on the beauty within the midst of the ashes.
The beauty within the midst of the ashes. Y'all heard that? The beauty of the beauty in the midst of the ashes. I think viewers, y'all can chime in with that and y'all let me know as well as him know how y'all feel about that one, because that's something that hits the heart, and that one kind of hit me a little hard.
And so, I kind of got that from an analogy of when I was looking at how the transformation from the caterpillar into the butterfly. And it actually talks about in the midst of the transitioning that there's a pain that takes place. So that caterpillar is actually going through excruciating pain. Like it talks about how that it loses different layers and different cells
Mm-hmm.
as it's transforming,
Mm-hmm.
from that cocoon state to such a beauty, that we all, springtime coming, we sit back and we see the beauty. I'm talking about bright, beautiful butterflies.
Yeah.
I've seen something that kind of, with the level of community advocacy that I do, the past 2 days, I've seen children. I've been seeing a lot of mothers. I've been seeing a lot of young men just pull together and just like, yo, we gotta, we gotta really step up to the plate and stop this madness. There's a saying that people always hear me say, we all we got, we all we need.
It's the truth. It's the truth. And I want to kind of project and go back on what he was saying about the butterfly and, how it goes through the excruciating pain. Please excuse me, but I never knew that the transformation was of sufferance. But you can relate it to our day-to-day trials and tribulations, like he said, as we're going through what we're going through right now in 2020. We're dealing with a lot of suffering. But for the ones that's continuing to stay motivated, it's a transition through the suffer. And within the next year coming in and within the next month, couple of days, whatever the case may possibly be, allow your suffer to put you in a transition of your beauty and blossoming and flourishing, because that too shall pass. It does not never last too long. But those are transitions that you have to go through in order to get to that stage of true beauty. So that's dope though, because everybody just look like that, when you're on your way to the top. You know what I'm saying? Everybody see you when you're at the top, but a lot of people don't see you when you're at your bottom stage. They kind of slightly catch you a little bit when you're in your middle stage, but all they see is the beauty. Nobody knows the pain that you go through in the midst of it. Nobody can even comprehend or understand, because guess what? It's not identified that way. It doesn't come off that way. A lot of times people look at them in a cocoon like, ooh, that's nasty. Ooh, look at that. Oh, I don't want nothing to do with that. Oh, look at that little thing right there. What's that right there? Right there. Yeah. What's that right there? But then when that butterfly come out, oh my gosh, that is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's just a word for a lot of people that have a mentality where as though they have a negative mentality and don't understand that it takes some stages in order for you to get to a true phase of blossoming. So that's real dope. That was a good one. That one was a good one. But you know what was a really good one? The ashes and the beauty. Now you gotta say that one again.
There is beauty in the midst of the ashes.
There's beauty in the midst of the ashes. So what do you mean when you say by that? I want you to get a little in depth for me.
So like, when you think about fire, right? Fire actually purifies. It really purifies the air.
It purifies the air.
It purifies the air. So the way that you can tell that you have a successful flame is by the ashes.
Yeah, by the ashes.
Because if there's fire and nothing's burning, then what you gotta think about how is it, how is the fire staying in the stage that it's in? If you can't see the aftermath. You know what I'm saying? So it's a beauty.
And it's funny though, because I was just having a conversation with my significant other, and we were talking about the holy fire, and we were talking about how the way that the fire is represented in this age and this stage, it's looked upon as destruction. Mm-hmm. It's looked upon as disasters. It's looked upon as wrong, but in all reality, like he just said, it's cleansing. Right now we're being chopped and screwed with our mental, from coronavirus, from the pandemic, from the food, from a lot of things that's going on. I can go on and on and on, and that's a prime example of how situations, circumstances are being switched up now, ways though they got us thinking that this fire right here is not to cleanse us, but in all reality, look at my hand, it's still within its cleanse. I didn't get burnt. Now, if I might leave it up there a little bit too long, I might mess around and end up getting burnt. But
right.
But
Right.
alternatively, like you just go into it. You have to see for your own eyes. You have to touch for your own eyes, and you have to experience for your own eyes before you can actually judge your whole situation. So that's pretty dope. That was dope. That was a good one.
So, I want to ask this question, and maybe you could possibly relate to the younger audience of Uncut Live Production, as many people will be able to have a chance to see this show. But something that I often come across in the limelight of the community organization, come across young men, young women, and they always ask me the question like, "Hey, like, what is it? How do you grasp the energy to stay positive?" So like what? So like I mean I know you wear a lot of different hats and stuff, and you just try to be a inspiration to to the people that God is putting in your path. So like what drives you? What keeps you?
Oh, that was a good one. I have to say first and foremost, my kids. That's my why. When I first had my first child, naturally I always been a positive and optimistic person. It's always been something that's naturally been within me. I always had a light within me, whereas though I always intake more positivity than negativity. But my actual inspiration that drove me was my kids because I started teaching them how to be more positive. I started teaching them how to detox negative energy and how to absorb more positive energy. And looking at my kids and the way that they're growing and the kids that they have became, it further let me know and gave me confirmation that I am doing well. And also just the impact that I have on the people when I'm conducting business with them or communication. I don't care if we're walking in the store, whatever the case may be. And when I was younger, I was always told that I had a gift with communication and communicating with people as far as the masses, and I bring in a different type of energy. So it's something that was already within me that I love doing in general, period, since I've been a little girl before I knew what was going on and this was my niche. But over time, situations and circumstances just kind of capitalize it for me. So it's one of them things where though when you're naturally inspired and determined, you don't necessarily pick your journey picks you. You know what I'm saying? So it was just one of them things where as though it was just one situation after another, where as though I allow Yahweh to guide me and I allow the universe to take its course, and so like just transitioning from whether it was a situation of darkness or if it was a situation of light, I always kept my faith that I'm never nowhere that I don't supposed to be. For whatever reason, I'm going through what I'm going through, whether it's a reflection of my own personal decisions that I made or the decisions of the universe it was made. It was a purpose behind it for me to learn, teach, or to be able to receive. So it was just one of them things where the inspiration just comes from the gut.
So you touched on something. You talked about the detoxing from energy, and now I think that from negative energy, and I think that is important because in this transitioning um, of age, we always talk about the detox of our bodies in relates to toxins and stuff from like food and stuff, but we never really talk about the detoxing of negativity, the detoxing of people that feel this
Energy.
energy.
Yeah, so for the past, oh gosh, since my son was born 2017, I went through a transition where though I started identifying with energy and frequencies. The body is way lighter than what we think it is. The mind is way stronger than we allow it to be, and the anatomy is most definitely not scientific. If that all makes sense, I started going through a lot of things, and I started noticing a lot of negative energy and a lot of negative people around me. Not to say that the people are necessarily bad, but the way that they make you feel, and I'll break it down in language terms, in layman's terms. How sometimes you can be around a person And when you're around them, you feel so drained once they leave. And even when you're with them, it puts you in a place that you may not have been in previously before they came in your space. And then you have people where as though you come around and they bring your spirits up so much and they just make you so happy and so excited. And when they leave, you find yourself craving for that energy or seeking for that energy in different ways and different forms. Those are the exchange of energies and frequencies. And I started noticing that because I noticed not only from the impact that I had, but the impact other people was having in the way that I was responding being an introvert. And it made me want to research. I started researching, and then I started learning that meditation was the key. Once I started learning that meditation was the key, then that's when I started understanding the different frequencies of detoxing the mind, body, spirit, and soul. So you have an actual scale, whereas the lowest vibration is shame.
Mm.
I believe it's shame, and the highest vibration is enlightenment. And through those different vibrations, I believe it starts off at 20 and it goes up into 1,000 or better within those frequencies. And see, a lot of people right now, they're living in a place of shame. They're living in a place of guilt. They're living in a place of anger. They're living in a place of frustration. They're living in a place of irritation. Those are all low vibrations. Those are all vibrations that keep you in a place where you attract a certain kind of energy, and the universe is placing that type of energy within you because those are the enzymes that you're exerting out. You feel me? Once you get to a place of encouragement or to be encouraged and be inspired, you in the middle, right? Because you accepting the fact of the matter that everything that you're going through is something that is out of your control during those moments. But once you identify that you have the control over it, you're taking the courage and you're being brave enough to address yourself. You know how they say fight your own demons. Sometimes those are things that you have to do, and majority of the time your demons is your emotions, because it is a mental warfare. You create what you choose to create within your mind. You have a decision to go left and right at all times. Once you get to a place of encouragement, then that's when things starts to drift and change slowly but surely. As these things begin to change, you start noticing more positive things starts to happen to you. You have more people that's positive that's coming around you. A lot of the people who used to be your friends, a lot of the people that used to say they love you, now they're not paying you attention no more. Now they're not asking you for things no more. Now they don't want to be in your space no more. But then on the other hand, the positive side of it, you got new opportunities opening. You getting things out of the whim. You getting money out of nowhere. Like, this is when you're transitioning. You're stepping over into the light. You're stepping over into a light where as though your desires is no longer taking control over you. You know, you're at a place where as though you're encouraging yourself to create a better reality. Then that's when you go to a place of peace. You go to a place of happiness. You go to a place of serene. And once you get to a place of enlightenment, which is one of the highest, and what I mean by enlightenment is where as though you're feeling self-made, self-inspired, self-driven, whereas though you feel like I can do it myself, whereas though you're not in a depression and you don't want to sleep around all the time, you don't want to ignore phone calls anymore. Now you have the courage to speak to these people who are trying to bring these blessings to you. Now you don't feel the guilt like you don't deserve it, and not only am I speaking to you guys, but I'm speaking to myself as well too, because these are things that I face day to day as well. But the good thing is I know how to self-heal. So now I'm at a place where so I can teach other people because I have been self-healing myself for the past 3 years. It's nothing like being in a dark place and not understanding that the enlightenment is most definitely within you. So that's how I got into understanding energy and frequencies and vibrations. For every vibration, it bounces off the wall. We create our own reality. So if we choose to be positive when someone comes our way, guess what? Positivity will come back to us. If we choose to be negative, then guess what? Negativity will come back to us. Despite of whatever type of energy the person is placing upon you, it's up to you to feed that energy, So I can go on and on and on and on and on
No, that
because
means
I embrace it and I love it. And it does not mean that I don't respect Yahweh and I love Him. It doesn't mean that I don't embrace the heavens above. It doesn't mean that I don't respect the universe. It doesn't mean that I don't respect my ancestors of righteousness. Those things are always going to be a part of me. But you have to learn different methods and ways how to adapt while we're taking this journey and this walk on earth. So it's a little deep. But hopefully it didn't go over the top of your head. But if it did, basically what I'm saying is catch the good vibes and let the bad vibes go.
yeah. And so that's so perfect. Because like I said, on my live this morning, I talked about that. You just got to get to a place where it's by you're determined that it takes two people to argue.
It does take two people to argue. It most definitely does. And a lot of people don't understand that my mother always taught me this. And she taught me this ever since I've been a little girl. She always says to me, it takes two chains to rattle. It takes two chains to rattle. You understand? And what I mean by that is like this, right? I'm not going to put this because this got fire on it, but both of these are glass. You put these together, you hear the noise that it make. Mm-hmm. But if you just do this by itself, you're not going to catch the noise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But also, another thing that I want to add to, and this light work a little bit, is also within the person too. You feel me? Because that person can find other ways to rattle that chain without that other chain. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? So that's when we go back to vibes and energy. You have to be careful about the people that you deal with because they are your future sometimes and they are your present day. And the ones that's in your past, it's just that. That's how you move forward. You let your past go. Let your past be your past. You no longer live there anymore. You appreciate your present day. It may be people from your past that can possibly enlighten your future, or it can enlighten the present day. But you understand where you was, where you been, and what you want, and what you no longer want,
Mm-hmm. And so, it's we're winding up the end of the year of 2020, transitioning into 2021. And the deal...
Can you believe that? 2021.
I mean...
Woo, where's the time, honey?
Time is like...
it's like this. Fly by.
To get to the other side of where you're trying to go and the path and the destiny that God has for you is you have to have... It sounds selfish, but what I'm about to say, but you have to have this mindset. You have to have tunnel vision.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you keep being distracted by the powers that be, the negative stuff, what God has for you, you're not going to be, you won't get to that. And so you gotta just have it's just simple. I can't get no realer than that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have tunnel vision. In this season is very important that if people are subtracting from you and they're not adding, they're not multiplying, you gotta do a U-turn. You gotta go the other way.
Say that again, boo-boo.
If people are not adding and they're only subtracting and they're not multiplying, you gotta make a U-turn. Because the more that you get distracted, you're not gonna be able to get to where you need to be. Think about this, Noah, right? Noah knew specifically what he was supposed to do. God gave him the blueprint, said, "Look, build this ark." And everybody around him was like, "Man, you crazy. You asinine. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
It ain't never rained in 40 years and all that, And and Noah had to say, you know what? Fine. I'm going to do what God had me to do.
Right.
He told me to build this ark, so I'm going to build this ark.
Right.
So in the midst of this transition, even in the midst of now, you ain't even got to worry about waiting for 2021. You can practice this now.
Right.
Tunnel vision.
Right.
The deal, you got to have tunnel vision. put your guards up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If they're subtracting, I'm talking about subtracting. We all know what I mean when I say subtracting. If people calling you on the phone and then all they're doing is just gossiping and they bad mouth and they trashing, or they just carry these negative vibes, or you trying to, whatever it is you're trying to do. You may be trying to start a business, your career, education, whatever it is that you're trying to do, and they just, for whatever reason, they just got this aura like, why are you doing that? You said you was going to do that. I'm telling you, disengage. I'm telling you, this is the season to disengage. This is disengage. If y'all don't get nothing out of this whole thing, is you need to disengage from negative people.
Right.
And sometimes when you disengage, you got to disengage from the very ones that's close to you. That means you got to disengage from negative family members. Yeah, if they're not going where you're trying to go, remember what I said. If they're not adding, if they're not multiplying, you gotta do a U-turn straight up.
Exactly. And I want to touch on that too, because disengaging from close family, friends, loved ones, and associates, because they all in the same ballpark, because majority of the time they all play within the same ends, right? Is one of the most hardest challenges that we go through as leaders, or just as individuals that's trying to step outside of the box, right? The goal is to step outside of the box and create something that's way greater than you, that can be legendary for your generations and generations to come, It's never easy. It's not going to be easy. And if you thought it was going to be easy, you pity the fool. But what you got to understand is, time of isolation is most definitely needed in order for you to build the inner you. When you have people around you that's coming down on you and very negative, guess what? Your blessing is near. When everybody in your ear is telling you, you can't do this, you can't do that, guess what? You can do it. I sat back and listened to one of the greatest spiritual gurus. I can't remember his name, but next time I'll have it for you guys. But he said, do what they will not do, honey. Do what they won't do. And guess what? The average person, what they ain't going to do is exalt positive energy. The average person, they ain't going to give no positive energy. The average person ain't going to turn their head the opposite way. The average person not going to stay focused on their goals or their dreams. The average person ain't going to create a legend that nobody can understand or perceive. Ain't nobody going to do that. Everybody just want to depend on the 9 to 5, working for somebody else, or up underneath for the government, or up underneath for the military, and doing what, guess what, society is telling you to do. I'm not encouraging nobody to be outside of their means, and for the ones that are within that means, that's just fine, because you may have a past or a message or a journey within those things. That's just fine. But when you're different and you are placed in a bubble where so people look at you as a black sheep, you just need a little tad bit of different kind of encouragement, because it comes from the stomach. You need your chakras right. You feel where I'm coming from? You need your alignment right. And I say these things to say, we all have different walks. We all have different journeys. But we're all similar in different ways. Guess what? We came from the womb and we go in the dirt. But our spirit lasts forever. So you got to identify on how you want to embrace that spirit. What you want to show out of that spirit. What you want to feed that spirit. Because whatever you feed that spirit is going to feed you. And the ones that's around you. So, they say karma is a bitch, but guess what? Karma ain't always that. Karma can be good. Karma can be beneficial. Karma can be positive. Karma can be rewarding. You feel me? It's all about the things that we're taught. And a lot of times with this society, this time, and this age, in this world, we're taught the wrong direction. But we're here today to let you know your instincts never lie to you. Your intuition is most definitely real. And take time to create you, your own universe. They say you universe, your own universe. Accept who you are inside. And the moment you do that, when people come to you with whether it's constructive criticism or it's just criticism in general, and it's the people who you care about the most, it's not going to affect you as much. You're going to be able to understand, I can identify with me. So if you do not understand me, then that is something you have to check up with yourself, you know? So it's real.
Y'all heard it here on a set of Uncut Live Productions, where we keep it 100 on 1,000.
101,000, shorty.
Something I always tell my guests, to make sure that they stay up to date. Make sure how you put your tags, so you know how people can reach out to you. You know.
Yes, Kenny, my friend. So let me explain something to you. I'm gonna say this one more time. Light Work Nikky, shorty, you hear me? On the Light Work Nikky show, I am the host for the Light Work Nikky show. I have a co-host that will be coming on soon. I will be exposing her name and information coming soon on my next show coming up. You guys can follow me at Light Work Nikky 18. Nikky with a Y. Light Work Nikky 18. Everything is spelled properly. No dashes or stars and none of that. It's Light Work Nikky 18. Okay. And my next information that I'm giving you, you can follow me at my actual show. That's my personal Light Work Nikky show. And I have another platform that I'm coming in on. I have a radio station called Real Explosion Radio View, Real Explosion Radio View. And you guys can download that app. I will be broadcasting each and every Wednesday at 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It's 1-0, baby. Whipping it in the fire. But I appreciate for being on his show. And it's nothing but love. I'm going to be with UNCUT, coming UNCUT Live Productions. This my homie. So, I'm going to be making my way around, coming around, and doing my thing with him as he go through his journey. He's going to be doing this thing with me as I go through my journey. And it's nothing but love and unity, you guys.
And so, y'all continue to stay plugged in with your boy, Mr. UNCUT. Y'all make sure you go on Facebook and follow the page, UNCUT Live Productions. Also, make sure that you go to my Instagram, Change Agent Now Forever. You just been plugged in with your boy, UNCUT.
Mr. UNCUT.